Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Couples Connect, man. I'm your boy Kevin.
Tanya.
Hey, we ready for another one tonight. It's going down in terms of talking about communication. Communication is one of the biggest issues, man, that couples have. How to communicate, how to relate, how to connect. Communication is the key to everything you have to do as a couple. You got to communicate, right? What do you think about that?
Yes. I mean, think about it. In order for us to relate to our, parents when we were little babies, we were little, we had to communicate in some kind of way, whether we cried, whether we moaned, whatever it was. Communication never ends. And when you get married, it's even more so that you have to communicate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, man, we got an amazing couple that's going to break this thing down. We're going to get into some communication conversation. So, guys, please welcome to the podcast, Coach Ken and Cherlyn.
Marilyn.
Cherlyn, welcome to the
Yes.
podcast, guys. What's going on, good people?
All is well. We just enjoying life.
Enjoying it to the fullest. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man,
It's great to be on with you guys.
man, look, it's great to have you guys on. It really is. I appreciate you guys just for accepting the invitation that my
Invitation.
wife gave. I think you gave out, right? Just reaching out. Your content was resonating with a lot of stuff that we talk about, that we deal with. So I think it's a match made in heaven on this couple connection that we're making with you guys tonight. So we're looking forward to some good conversation and dialogue around communication. So you guys talk to people, y'all talk to couples, y'all counsel couples. Communication seems like is one of the bigger things that you guys kind of deal with other couples. Why communication? Why is that y'all main focus when it comes to couples?
Well, communication, sex, and money are the three top reasons that people divorce. So we usually send a questionnaire to couples before we talk with them. And I'll tell you, 99% of the couples have communication issues. That's yeah.
Why do you think though? Like, why do you think communication is one of the biggest issue, one of the top three? I mean, you would think that it's so easy to communicate. Hey, babe, I need something, or can you give me this, or hey, I have a issue with this, and you just communicate. But it's not that easy.
Well, the biggest thing is that as we communicate, we are interpreting what someone is saying to us. And during communication, the way a person interprets what's being said is everything. And if your interpretation, our interpretation shapes the way we're going to communicate. And there's some other things that come into play when it comes to your interpretation of what someone is saying. You see what I'm saying? So that's why what we hear isn't always what was said.
Right. Because have you ever talked to someone and you said you tell them something simple and then they respond back? You said, "How did you get that? Where did that come from? That's not what I said." So they've interpreted something totally different from what you were really saying and communicating to them.
Right.
And their response is
Yeah.
going to be based on what they felt you said.
So if I I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Go, coach. What you got?
So if the way I grew up and the things that I heard at growing up is going to dictate how I respond to certain things. If I grew up hearing you're not gonna be you're terrible, you're gonna be just like your daddy, you this horrible, you're not good enough. And my wife simply, I go out and cut the grass. And she looks out the window and be like, "Oh, that's a great job," what she's thinking. And then she says, "Well, honey, the grass looks great, but you left a few sprigs is still standing up out there, Now, it's all in the way that I receive that. So if I receive it as if, oh, here's another one just saying I'm not good enough, I don't do the right thing, I don't do anything right, I'm going to respond defensively. But on the flip side, if I take it in encouragement, if I was in that family where they encourage you all the time, they said they give you the affirmation, the positive confirmations of what you're doing, then I would take that a different way. I'll be like, "Oh, wow. Okay, well, thank you. I'll go ahead and knock those out real quick." It's just all in the way that I interpret what she said, because I'm trying to, instead of asking her what she meant by what she said, I go and interpret it the way I received it. Does that make sense?
But no, it makes absolute sense, man, because I tell you, just the other night, she and I had that same very situation where we were talking and we're trying to have a moment and just try to communicate on something. And it was something that she was saying. Actually, it happens a lot. Well, we dealt with it pretty often lately where the communication for even us, where we were just kind of missing each other. And lots of times it's like she may say something or vice versa. I'll say something and it's interpreted the wrong way. So just I totally, totally agree. And lots of times that's what the statement is. It's like, no, that's not what I said. Or that's not what I meant when I said that. Right. So that
Mhm.
communication piece, man, I totally, totally agree because we even deal with that sometimes, even in our own marriage. So I totally
Absolutely.
agree. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you
And go
agree
ahead.
with, yeah.
Yeah, I agree, but I have a question though. So, and what we do sometimes, yeah, it's like, I that's not what I meant, but it's like that's what he heard or that's what I heard.
Mhm.
And then you have to find a way to break it down what you actually meant. So how do you even do that? You have to kind of like be think about what you're about to say to explain it in a way that he can receive it, but sometimes you don't even know how to do that.
But
You know
what
what I mean?
I think we all have to understand that everything that we communicate, like you're communicating here, he's communicating there, but there's a filter in between both of you. So you're talking to him based on your past issues, your past traumas, your past fears, your past. He's speaking to you on that. So sometimes it is going deeper and understanding where this person is, their heart, because they're not just talking about the garbage can that wasn't taken out. It's really something deeper than that. You see? So we
Mhm.
have to like understand the filters, like our past experiences, our past things that happened to us in the past. It teaches us or it causes us to communicate a certain way. So if you know that he's not that type of person, which he's not trying to, be treat you bad or do anything bad or harmful to you, then a lot of times it means just stepping back, pausing. What is he really saying to me?
Mm-hmm.
Where's his heart?
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not trying to say that about me. So what is he really? That one pause can turn that conflict into a connection.
Mm-hmm.
That one
Yeah.
pause. Sometimes we're
Yeah.
so busy, ready to defend ourselves, to go to the next point and to communicate our point. That's where we have issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
That's
so
good.
the filter is shapes the response because if in different cultures, loud and seemingly aggressive conversations mean different things. So in some communities, loudness means you're passionate about what you're saying, but in another community, that could mean aggression. So let's say you Kevin came from that community where loudness was passion, and she comes from the community where loudness is aggression. So when you show your passion, she takes it as an aggression. And so now her response is going to be she's responding to aggression because that's what she normally sees that as. And sometimes we don't take the time to learn things about people's past and where they come from and how they grew up before we get married. And then
Mm.
after we get married, now we're trying to figure these things out. And, you don't have that curve that you would have had, if you living in one house and he's living in another house. Now you got to figure it out why your life is happening. You got children, you got careers and all these things are happening. And now you still have this person that you got to try to figure out what is it that makes them tick? What are their triggers? What is this thing? So our filters are going to shape our response. And everybody has them. I don't care what everybody has filters. I have some. So when we started dealing with communication, I had to address some of my own filters. I'm like, wow, okay. But we deal with what we call PCS. We pause and then we take a moment for clarity and then we speak. And then
Mm.
make sure of what we're asked. Because sometimes I get on the nerves, but I ask a bunch of questions. Well, what are you really saying here? But what do you mean by that? And she get frustrated, but she understands why I'm doing what I'm doing because I don't want to answer the wrong question that she's not asking. Because I might put
Mm.
meaning on a word that she didn't mean it that way. So I'm asking a question. So because she'll tell you, I hate to have to go back and fix something that I said when I can just pause for a moment and say just what needs to be said in that minute.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, boy, we jump right in, huh?
We in the
Hey,
moment.
I'm
hey,
telling you with those deep
we,
questions.
I know, right?
Love it. I love it.
This is one more. We didn't know PCS here. We went right.
We went right to the S.
We went right into it, boy. But I love it though, man, because I think what you guys are saying is absolutely awesome, because I think in the conversations that we've had before that was around the topic of communication, this is a different spin on it, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Mhm.
So and I think is very, very valuable, because you guys are saying it is even shedding light on me. So you guys already didn't bless me already.
Thank
And we just 10 minutes in. So thank you guys for that. Cause
How did it
that's
bless you?
it blessed me, because it lets me know. And now it kind of gives me a system. Cause I think a lot of the times, it's okay to implement systems into your relationship and your marriage, if it's going to definitely be systems that can actually help you and benefit you. Maybe systems, tools, however you want to word it, right? That's going to really help you to kind of be a little bit better in the areas where maybe you're a little weak, little weak areas where you can use a little bit help, right? So I think both of us can benefit from some, PCS, right? Just to kind of really start to get that clarification and bridge that gap, so we can make sure that we're fully communicating and understanding one another, um, and making sure that there's no misunderstanding of what the other one meant. So that can avoid a lot of, frustration, anger, tension, and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So
Mhm.
anyway, so that's kind of what I'm picking up. So tell me this. Did you guys ever have any communication issues and problems the way y'all vibe?
You're talking to us. I know you're not.
Man, he got
I'm
language.
not picking up
Man,
on no
sports.
miscommunication.
Well, yes, we always share it like this. Our first 5 years of marriage were tumultuous, to say it at best. That's because we were talking at each other, not to each other. I
Mhm.
wasn't listening. And what we had developed was this thing where we both were listening to respond instead of listening to understand. And so when we actually got with a friend of ours who is a clinical psychologist, and she really sat in the midst of us one time having one of those, heated discussions, if you will. And she said, "Y'all are not listening to each other." And of course, I know what she said and X, Y, and Z. And she's sitting up there like, "No, that's not what I said. That is what you said." And our friend was like, she was like, "No, that's not what she said." So then I backed up and I said, "Well, what did you say?" And when she began to tell me what she actually said, and I slowed down to hear her heart and not just be ready to respond, I started to hear clearly where her heart was. And she was really telling me what she needed from me. And so when we started to do that, it changed a lot of things. It softened me, and I didn't realize it was softening her at the same time.
Yeah.
I have to say he's been an example for me because the way I grew up, oh my God, I was always defensive, ready to go. So he's the total opposite for me. Laid back, it's all good, whatever. But I was just the opposite. And I believe that God put us together because he couldn't be like me and I couldn't be like him. So the things that I had to change, have empathy towards what he felt, and he had to do the same for me. We were just looking at something the other day that talked about two people that go to church. One person goes to his church where they grew up in church, where they jumped all over the place, they rolled all over the place, they were speaking in tongues. And another person went to a church that was quiet, somber, like, oh, like, oh. So I won't say what kind of religion, but they were in two different churches. So now they go to church together, right? So the person is jumping she's sitting there looking at these people jumping all over the place, and she's just sitting there like, wow, I've never been to this type of environment. And the people who are there, they're looking at her. Why is she so stuck up? Why is she not moving? But you have to understand the heart of a person and not judge them on what you see and not, what you're dealing with at that time. So that's what I'm saying. For him, we had to learn to empathize with each other and understand we didn't grow up the same way. We don't know how to communicate the same. We didn't know how to communicate the same way. But having empathy, like the person in the church, her heart was for Christ. She loved Christ. She wanted to be in the midst of she wanted the anointing to fall on her as well. But the people, you can't judge people based on that. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
And
Yeah.
their
That's a great,
response is a
yeah.
little different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your
Yeah.
response is not gonna be like mine.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish more people, really took the time to really analyze, their marriage early on, maybe even before. So, right. So there's a lot of couples that may go through premarital counseling, right? But I think if right now the way I feel is like when you start premarital counseling, it's like counseling should never stop. I feel like counseling should always be a part of your marital, your healthy gauge on tools for your
Mhm.
marriage,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? Because I think it is something that you just continually need on a regular basis. And we were just talking about that the other day. Like we was like, man, we need to get back. We need to go to counseling, and it was for even if it's for nothing more, just to kind of check in and have that mediator and just kind of help us work through maybe some things where we may be a little bit different on, right? And it's not necessarily that we going at it and yah, yah, and going and constantly like, oh, I want to divorce.
Right.
It ain't even to that level, but just to check in and just to say, hey, just some stuff was happening and we just want to check in and just kind of see where we at. What's your thoughts on those things, right? But I really do feel, and I probably value counseling now more than I ever have, because in the beginning, counseling just wasn't, come on, man. I'm a black man. We black, baby. There ain't nobody. We
That
just getting
part.
a hold of. We
Yeah.
just getting to counseling,
Yeah.
right? We just starting to
Exactly.
accept counseling, right? Back in the day, I ain't gonna talk and tell them about my business, right? But
Mhm.
now I feel like, man, counseling I think is needed.
Mhm.
I think it's needed more than ever now, for couples to make it. If both parties are truly willing. And I think it can be a benefit if you have the right counselor in place to help you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, anyway,
Mhm.
but so tell me this, man, with the couples that you guys are talking to on a regular basis, communication is one of the hot topics. Do you guys have a formula, a system that you guys kind of come to the table with and say, hey, once you identify some issues, well, this is something we want you guys to kind of work on. What are kind of some of the systems or processes or tools you guys give some of the people that you work with to help them in that area of communication?
That he was just saying when you were talking about having something like a marriage counselor or a marriage coach throughout the marriage, he was just talking about one of them that we came up with.
And it's
And
called the oil change.
Mm.
the
It's
word.
preventive maintenance.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and we will do preventive maintenance on everything except for the one thing that's probably the most important thing that we could ever get into, and that all change is to the first thing you got to do is observe. You got to observe it. Okay, what check out that check engine light. What is your check engine light for your marriage? What gauges is there? Do you sense distance? If you sense distance, then your check engine light is on. If you're constantly, if you feel like you're starting to argue more than you've done before, your check engine light is on.
Mm.
If your job and your careers are pulling you apart and you're too tired to be intimate with her and she's too tired to be intimate with you, your check engine light is on. Or if you're always running with the kids and running to do this and do that and do this, and you're not spending any real quality time with each other, and you look at your spouse and you're like, I miss you, your check engine light is on. So we got to
Mm.
know what those things are. We have to, and sometimes couples don't look for them until the cars barely even started, and now you got you're in crisis. And so, but that's where we try to help couples keep from getting to crisis, because if you can start to observe and see those things, then you initiate change. You start to initiate now the change that needs to be happened. So when you see that there's something wrong, you got to initiate some things that will put it in place, like back up to just your simple date night. Listen, you have to come and say, hey, you know what, I need some of your time. You need to put me on your schedule. And the person that's feeling like that they're not getting that time, you don't wait for the other person that looks like they're busy to slow down. You step in and say, oh, excuse me, ma'am, sir, I need X, Y, and Z slotted of your time. Now you need to put me on your calendar, or I'll put myself in there. Okay. And what you're doing is you're initiating the change. You're initiating, this is what I need from you. Or if you haven't been intimate, or the intimacy is just, okay, let's just get our rocks off and go to sleep, and there's no intimacy in it. Wait a minute, hold on. No, I need all of your time. I don't want your mind somewhere else and just your body here. You have to be able to communicate with your spouse in these situations. And then the next thing is, once you initiate change, you got to keep that change lubricated. That means you got to keep this thing going. You can't just do it, 1 month and think that that's going to cover you for 6, 7 months. Try that with your car.
Right.
Try that before, driving 40,000 miles on an oil change. Try that and see what happens. See if it doesn't put you in a place where now it costs you more. And that's what we try to keep, just with the oil change, we try to keep them from putting themselves in situations where it costs them so much. It costs them time. It costs them energy. And for some people, it will cost them their relationship. But it didn't have to be that way. If you would just slow down and just start looking and say, wait a minute, something's off. Because when you're missing your spouse. I know when I'm missing her. And I'll tell her, hey, I'm missing you. And intimacy, I'd be like, oh, sister, hey, we got to do something about this. But that's one of the programs that we have. And then we have one that's a little bit longer, and that one is the marriage reboot. Sometimes you just need to hit reset. That's all. You just need to hit reset. And when you hit the reset button, there's some things that we take you through the process. First thing you got to do is just slow down. Life will speed you up. Life will have you going 90 miles in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. And if you're going that fast in that type of zone, something is going to happen. And so we teach them how to reset, just simple reset.
Yeah. And sometimes it just involves date nights. We tell couples, if you don't have money, just go to the hotel, sit in the lobby, get a drink. If just get a virgin daiquiri, if that's what you want to drink. Just sit in the lobby, laugh at the people coming through, sit out. It's always something that you can do just to get time alone, to spend time alone. So it's just that when you're married, a lot of times you just go and go and go. And just something as simple as sitting in a hotel lobby, talking with each other, laughing, it can bond. It cause you to bond again.
Absolutely.
The little things.
And that's the part that we like. It's not the grand gestures that causes the reboot. It's the little things. And sometimes, and since we're just talking to Kevin and Ty, sometimes you might just say, honey, I'm planning a trip for us. We're going away it's a staycation, but we're going to the hotel because I need to get out of this environment. Because sometimes just simply the environment change will cause you to say you'll drift back to each other.
Yeah.
We noticed that when we went to we celebrated 25 years last month, and we went to Cancun for our anniversary. And we noticed that when we were there 3 nights, and it was amazing. And it allowed us to reconnect with one another. It wasn't a lot of people there. And so we were able to just talk, walk, and laugh, look at people and just have a good time. It was just great. It was wonderful. And we got back here and it was back to reality, the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
But I told Kevin about that. I said, it made me realize how disconnected we are when we're home.
Yeah.
Because we have so many things that's fighting for our attention, like work, school, businesses, kids, all of that. So many things that's fighting for our attention to where you don't realize how disconnected you are.
Absolutely.
And when we were there, we were connected. I mean, we were connected, So, yeah, I get that. You need time to recharge and reset.
Yeah, it was definitely a different experience for us, for sure. That was a reality check
It was.
for us, for sure, in our marriage. So, because like she mentioned, we didn't realize how disconnected we were, because until everything just slowed down and we had no distractions.
Mhm.
And when you take away the distractions and the noise, we realize how much we really, was able to connect without all those distractions. So it was awesome. It really was. It took me a minute,
Yeah.
but it was awesome.
Well, congrats
Because
on 25.
I'm
Yeah.
Hey, I'm extrovert. As soon as I got there, I look, where the people at?
Where the
I
people?
step off the plane. I'm like, what's up? Let's go. Skirting this,
That's
that whole
right.
first,
See, that's
that whole.
Is
I,
that right?
I'm with. Let's turn
I'm
up.
like,
Let's go.
I need to go somewhere and chill out. I came here to
Yeah.
relax. I
Yes.
ain't come here to be running around this place like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm not.
Yes.
We
Uh-uh.
went to what was it? Jamaica. Was it last year, or the year before? And I told my wife right up front. I said, I'm not going on no excursion. I used my Jamaican accent. I said, them gonna take me fish me lay down on the beach, man. Me not going nowhere. And that's exactly what I did. We didn't do anything. We stayed at the resort and just enjoyed. We laid out on the beach most of the day, went back, took a nap, got dressed, went to dinner, and we spent
Yeah.
a wonderful time together. And so could you imagine if both of y'all were like, let's go, what's next? You'd be wore out by the time you get back to the house. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, I need a nap. I need a break
Yeah.
I need a vacation from the vacation.
No.
Hey,
I was at home, but I kind of worried a little bit when we got on the resort because it was really big and we had to take a golf cart everywhere. And as we were riding to our room and I didn't see a lot of people, I kind of started thinking about Kevin like, oh man, I wonder
Yeah,
if he's
like
gonna actually enjoy this. I mean, it took him a minute, but he got into it. For me, it was home for me. It
nice,
was
nice,
home.
Yeah.
nice.
that first day I was bored out of my mind. I was like, this is whack. I was
I
like,
know
where everybody at?
you got so much going on. You like, I can't just sit here. It's too much.
Right. Exactly. I'm
I
like, ain't
can
nobody
see that.
outside.
That's
Yeah.
exactly why.
Anyway, it was a new experience for us.
Yeah, that's
And I must say, on the other side of it, it was very, very beneficial. It was needed. And
see.
then by day two, I didn't already accepted it because at the end of day one, I realized I'm like, okay, God trying to just shut me up and sit me down somewhere. He just trying
See.
to, because I don't, this ain't my environment right here. So
Mhm.
it was new. It was different for me. I had to go down. I met her at her level and we just was able to connect, a little bit differently. So it
Mhm.
was awesome. It was awesome. I enjoyed it
Nice.
at the end of it.
Absolutely.
Hey, fam, what's going on? It's your boy Kevin.
Tanya.
Yeah, man. So hey, we just wanted to kind of drop in real quick just to let you know that we appreciate you guys, man, for watching and supporting the channel. We put some energy and effort into this thing, and we want to help marriages all over the world. We really do, man. We really want marriages to win, but we need your support. How can you support us, baby?
By liking,
Mm-hmm.
sharing, and
Mm-hmm.
subscribing.
There you go. Say it again.
Liking,
Mm-hmm.
sharing,
Mm-hmm.
and subscribing.
Mm-hmm. Check it out. Did you know that to subscribe to a channel is absolutely free?
Free.
Free 99. Check it out.
$3.99.
That's right. So if you subscribe, all it's going to do is help push the algorithm out so more and more people can see the content. If it's blessing you, imagine how many more people it can bless. So once again, all you got to do is
Like, subscribe, and share.
Good
In
deal.
any order.
In any order, baby. In any order, we'll take it. So, but anyway, so we appreciate you guys, man. We love the support, and yeah, man. So back to the episode. So tell me this, man. With couples having issues with communication, it seems like a lot of it, and maybe based on your guys' experience with counseling couples, talking with them in the area of communication, is a lot of the issues that they're having. Is it really because of their upbringing from the maybe some of the traumas? Because I know for me and my wife, and I'm always just relating to us because that's we
What you
lived it.
know.
We lived it, right?
Mhm.
A lot of our issues in a lot of our issues, not just in communication and everything, was based around the fact that how we were brought up. We were just to come from two different worlds, right? So are you guys finding that communication is the same? It's just like two people who just grew up differently, different areas, and that's why they struggle with communication?
Well, and that goes back to the filters. Those filters are built in when you're a child. They don't just poof and show up, as you're an adult. They are built in as you're a child. And
Mm,
and so if a woman all she sees is her mother throwing the shoe at her father, guess what? She gonna think that that's the right way to to get your attention is throwing something at you. And so these filters are built in, and they don't. And the thing about it is, as adults, we didn't know those filters were being built in. They just show up, and we think that this is just the way I am.
Yeah.
This is the way I am. You're going to have to just accept me the way, and it's really not. And there's another thing that enters into play with that. And this is something we did a seminar on. This is called inner vows. And sometimes those filters, as they're being made by what you're seeing at home, you make inner vows to yourself that, ain't nobody going, no one is ever going to treat me this way. So now you have somebody that loves you unconditionally and they give you a glimpse. It's not the same thing, just a glimpse. And you respond based upon that inner vow that you made, which is a filter. And so nobody's going to treat me like that. And I had to get to the place where I didn't realize I had some, and she had to understand she had some inner vows that she made to herself. Ain't nobody gonna ever treat me like that, and I wasn't doing it, but I gave her the glimpse of it, and it triggered and made her go back to that space, to that time. And so that a lot of times we don't realize we've created those inner vows, and an inner vow is going to do one or two things. It's either going to make you adopt what you saw or go to the opposite end of the spectrum, to where if you saw physical violence, you either going to be a fighter or you're going to go to the other end of the spectrum and be very passive about it at your own detriment. And so we've had to help couples realize that they've made these promises to themselves at the detriment of their marriage. And then once they realize those things, they can then start to make some adjustments. I didn't know. And we've heard a lot of them, especially the men. And I didn't know I was like that. Yeah.
And sometimes it's cultural differences, that causes them not to be able to communicate, because culturally, this is what they've done. They were raised this way, and this is what they believe in their culture. And now it's not like that here. That's all I'll say about that. It's just not like that here. And now you're married to a person that they just believe this is how it's supposed to be. The mother is in charge of the family. I'll say for African culture, the mother is who you listen to. She's number one in your life. This is who you have to, take her advice above anyone else's advice. So now you're in a marriage, and now it's supposed to change. Mom is supposed to be, you leave mom, and you leave mom, and now you cleave to your spouse, and that's a problem for some marriages. That causes communication. It causes a lot because mom is interfering. And that could be an issue. So yeah, there are different reasons why they have
I
this.
know, going back to what you said, coach, is that you if you saw violence growing up, you had to go to either end of the spectrum. You become a fighter or you become passive. That was me. Like I became very passive to where, because I didn't want to, not with anybody, not just with my husband, but with anybody. Like I'm not gonna fuss. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna fight. I'm just gonna be quiet. And that's not good for a relationship. That's not good for your workplace. It's not good for anything. Um, that was me. But what I wanted to ask is, when it comes to communication, do you find with your clients, I don't know what you call them, clients or patients, do you find with them that they stop being curious about each other? Because this is something that Kevin and I were talking about too the other night, is that I think that at some point in our marriage relationship, you kind of like stop asking questions about each other. You stop asking questions about what you like, what you don't like, that thing that happened in the past, or whatever it may be. You just stop being curious about each other. And I think when something happens in the relationship, and I think we talked about this earlier, where you say it's not even about that one thing that's in front of us right now, it's about that thing that happened, you know, 5 years ago that we never talked about and just skipped over. And I feel like that's a part of being curious. Do you find that with your clients?
What do you think, honey?
I think, yeah, I agree. They stop inquiring as to what it is that makes their spouse who they are. Um, we tell them you have to continue to date that person, because in the dating process is when you really were trying to find out as much as you possibly could about this person, to see if this person could possibly be the one. But it's like after you get them, after you both say I do, you stop dating them. You stop, like you just said, you stop inquiring about this person, because let's understand, and this was a big eye opener for me. God didn't give me the wife that was in my head. He gave me the raw materials to develop the wife that was in my head.
Ooh, that
So
was good.
if I didn't take the time
Mhm.
to try to talk to her and find out some of the things that she's experienced in the past, so that I don't duplicate those things in the future, so that she can be all that she's supposed to be and all that I need her to be, I would have never gotten to the woman that I have now. Because the woman I married this is a different woman here. She looked the same, just as fine as she could be. She looked the same. But guess what? This is a different lady right here. And so we have to also give ourselves, or give each other, the grace to evolve, and then to help them evolve. And when you help them evolve, this is what I think at the base of what marriage is. You're putting their needs ahead of yours at any given time. Their desire, when you understand that they are growing, they're changing, they're becoming even the more, you want to help facilitate those changes and that becoming. And so sometimes you have to, take play the background, so to speak, and let them shine. And then there are times when they'll back up and let you shine. But that's all when you continue to ask those questions. You continue to stay observant. Because sometimes you don't have to ask if you just watch. That's one thing, people will show you what they want from you. You just got to be paying attention. You just got to be paying attention, because when my wife gave me space, she knew I was upset about something, or she thought, something was bothering me, and she gave me space. To me, she said, when I'm going through what you're dealing, or, just dealing with whatever, give me a little space. Give me a little space. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to tell you what's going on. But right now, just give me a little space.
Mm.
That's what I did. And she doesn't need as much space as I did, because she'll just like, no, this is what's bothering me. And she just let me, she just tell it all.
That's how we do it.
But me, I'm gonna back up a minute, process it, and then I'll tell her, hey, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. But when I like the way you said it. Curious. I want to know everything there is to know about this woman. So I gotta see. There's some questions I gotta ask.
That
And,
reminds, I
and,
always have this little story. I'm sorry, I got another story.
go.
I love stories.
Do you? Okay, cool. So there's an orange. There's a couple is one orange. They both want the orange. Have you heard the story before? Okay. So they both
I heard
want
the story about a grapefruit, but not an orange.
we can use a grapefruit now. No, we can't. As a matter of fact, we have to use an orange. So there's an orange. They both want the orange. I want the orange. No, I want the orange. They're fighting over this orange. Okay. So eventually someone comes and say, listen, did you tell him what you wanted the orange for? I want the orange because I want to make orange juice. Did you tell her what you wanted the orange for? I wanted the orange because I needed the zest. I wanted to make a pie. All you had to do was communicate that to your person, to your spouse, and let them know what you wanted it for. Y'all both can have the orange.
Could use the orange.
That's
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
real.
as simple as that.
just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And sometimes
But-
you have to give up the right to be right. Because sometimes, it's not worth me being right at her expense. Or at our relationship expense. Because when the tension shows up in our house, we know it. Quick. We know it. She walk around, she look at me all side-eyed, and I'm looking at her side-eyed, and I'm like, we got to get the devil up out of here. No. You got to go, buddy. And one thing that I always tell this one thing that the Lord shared with me years ago. And he said, son, you're going to have to be the sacrifice for this marriage. And I said, well, what do you mean, Lord? He said, you're going to have to be the one to initiate reconciliation. I said, but what if I didn't do anything? He said, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm not telling you to talk or apologize or say I'm sorry for something you didn't do, but you did do something. So you initiate reconciliation. Honey, I'm so sorry for talking to you the way I did. I should not have yelled at you. I should not have raised my voice. And 99.9% of the time, we'd start a conversation and we'll get to that place where the tension is gone. And now we're in a better place.
Yeah, and it changed me as well, because in the past I could go for days without speaking. We can walk around good, whatever, but it changed me. So by him being an example like that, honestly, we don't have it. Like, it's no days, it's not hours. it's just not like that. So he began to be an example for me, and now I come around as well. It's amazing how God came in and changed it.
How mm,
Go
okay.
girl.
How how does, communication and core values core values play in communication?
That's a good question.
Mhm.
Um, in the beginning of any relationship, um, whether you're married or whether you just met someone that that could possibly be the one, you have to find out what they value. You have to, and this goes back to asking those questions. What do you value? What are you value? And I tell any girl, listen, go. If he talking about you the one and he love you, you need to go home and meet his mom. Watch how he treat his mother, because if he treats his mother like she's just somebody in the house, he gonna treat you like that. But if he treats his mother with the utmost respect, he honors his mom, yes ma'am, no ma'am, those kinds of things, he's gonna respond to you in like manner. And so likewise, you want to. I need to see, what kind of relationship you have with your father. Now, if she doesn't have a relationship with her father, we get ready to have some more questions. What's going on with that? What's happening with that? And then they start to show you what they value. And when you don't have core values, an individual without core values will not have boundaries. They will not have boundaries, and they will go in, do anything, say anything, and it's supposedly okay. But if that goes against what you stand for, at some point you're gonna have to say, you gotta start protecting yourself. But now that you're married, you need to have that. We have to set up core values for our family. Our spirituality, our faith is at the forefront of who we are as a couple. We value integrity, because there's no point in lying to each other. We value empathy. We value intimacy. And intimacy for us is so much further than sex, because that is the lowest form of intimacy that anybody can tap into. So we venture into other spaces, and so these things are what matters to us the most.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
gotta have we integrity is the biggest thing for us.
I think over time, values changes too, because, when you get married, it's your values are one thing. And then as you grow together as a couple, or you find that you're having to grow at certain times, because most couples do, your values also changes. Whether they change for the good or the bad, it should change for the better, but it changes as well. It doesn't stay the same.
You're saying values are priorities.
Values. So let's just say you got married, and you got married in a traditional way that
Mhm.
most people get married in the church, this, that, and the other. But then as time goes on, you begin to see that, I don't like the traditional way of being married anymore. That's not us. I'm just speaking.
No, I got you. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't like the traditional way of being married anymore. I don't value those traditions. I want to have our own tradition, Now I don't wanna spend Christmas with your mother. I wanna spend Christmas with just our family, because I value our family more than I value being with your family. So I'm just saying that values over time, something just as simple as that, it changes, and that can bring about, frustration in a marriage, that can bring about disconnection or friction in a marriage. So there are just many things in a marriage that you always have to constantly be communicating about and asking questions about. How are you feeling this year? Has things changed? What are you feeling about this? And that's why I say we don't get we're not curious enough um about each other and how we're feeling. We just always expect each other to stay the same, you know. And we get frustrated with each other when we feel like you just don't understand me. You just don't bec- you just never asked me the question. And
Mhm.
like you said, to your point too, is that I don't a lot of times I don't know what to ask, because I don't know how you said it, because it was good. He was like, I don't sometimes we don't know as couples what to ask around
Yeah.
being curious or whatever.
Yeah. So there was just real quick, it was just something we were talking about, and it was just a matter of there was an expectation there, right? There was an
Mm,
expectation that she had of me.
mhm,
And she's like, "Well, you didn't do such a thing. You didn't ask for this." And my thing was, how can I ask for something that I don't know
That need
that need
asking.
asking?
Yeah, and I thought
You
that
know what I'm
was
saying?
good.
Right.
mm,
So because I don't know to ask this question,
Right.
because it's not something I either maybe haven't dealt with or experienced or had any or just didn't have any knowledge of. So how do I know to ask that question, right?
mhm,
So you don't know what you don't know. So
Mhm.
it was just one of those situations where we were just in some some conversation, man, communicating and trying to understand each other in a certain space that we were in at that moment, and just trying to work through something that we were trying to communicate to one another.
Yeah.
So but but anyway, but that's why I say that the counseling seems like it should always be like forever because you just need someone to just really help you to just
Mhm.
decipher, where you're at in your marriage this year because
absolutely.
where we were 5 years from now, 5 years
Last
ago,
year.
last year we're in different spaces, right? So we're constantly changing. So have someone to a middle mediator to decipher some of the things that we're dealing with, talking about, going through. Doesn't always have to be anything that's so dramatic that's
Right.
where we got divorce on the table. It could just be just to try to better continue to better understand one another and continue to grow with one another. Um, so I do have a question. I wanted to say because it seems like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about um, I think when it comes to communication, I think there's one particular piece from the first time we talked about it with our last guest, and now talking with you guys, and just from the moments of she and I talking about communication. It seems like there's one thing that's definitely have to happen, and that's intentionality, right? So an intentionality piece is just something that people because if you're getting with two people who are who are trying to communicate and they're not understanding one another, they're fussing and going at each other, you have to want to understand one another.
Mhm,
You have to want to do that, right? So I think there's some intentionality. I think there's some maturity. There's a few different things that has to happen on each in to really try to start working through that communication piece so you can really start to understand each other and have more effective communication. And I think maybe why some people maybe deal with it so long is because they're not mature enough yet and they just don't have the intentionality or the desire to have to be intentional
mhm.
about wanting to understand, about wanting to have effective communication, right? And I think that comes with growth. Um, so I'm just curious, what do you guys take on that?
Now, I was just gonna say that, again, with I think one of the things he said not too long ago is that people have more empathy for people they don't know than for the person that they live with every single day. You'll be more respectful, you'll be courteous, you'll be kind, you all of that to a person that you work with every day than the person. So it does mean you have to have empathy for them. But we deal with couples who don't know each other's backgrounds. We sit and we go into the background sometimes and they're like, I didn't know that happened to you. Well, yes, that happened
Mm,
to me when I was a kid. And now you see why I'm the way that I am. I didn't know that. Now I understand. So now when I say this word, it's a trigger for you. When I do X, Y, I understand now that it's a trigger for you. So I have to empathize with what you've been dealing with all of your life so we can work through this and we can grow. So empathy is definitely, definitely important. But it means peeling back some layers and going back into the past again.
mhm. And
Yeah.
empathy will cause you to be intentional. When I'm empathizing with where she is, I'm intentionally uh, taking the time to actually hear what she's saying, actually hear her heart. And then, with intentionality, I'm going to take the time to say what she needs to hear from me. You were talking about being or having an expectation for something that you didn't verify or even clarify to your spouse. That m- most of the, especially the younger marriages, the shorter term marriages that we've come across, they have these unrealistic expectations they have in here that they never communicated to their spouse. They never said, this is what I expect from you, this is what I expect. And so because they didn't, now they still, but they didn't stop their expectation. They still expecting this without telling them. And so it creates an issue. But when you are intentional, and that's one thing that we have to be more, have a focus on, is intentionality. I'm intentional with how I talk to her because I don't want to say something that I have to go back and fix. So that causes me to PCS, pause. First thing I'm gonna do, and she'll tell you I've been doing it for the last 23 years. Pause. I understand. And then she'll be like, well, did you hear what I said? Yes, I did hear what you said. But I don't want to respond out of just that moment. I need to pause. I need to check and see and be intentional with what I say, because words can do damage that a punch can't do. And I don't want to say something to her that will hurt her. And then now I have to go back and try to fix and find another word to fix the one word that I should not have spoken. So being intentional, that means you got to be, you have to be available to be intentional. You have to be emotionally available to be intentional. And if we allow life to start pulling us away from our spouse, we're not emotionally available. And so when you're not emotionally available, you're not going to be intentional, especially when it comes to communicating to your spouse what you need from your spouse. And so when you get intentional with it, you can say, honey, I need to talk to you. Now, sometimes even with the filters, that might seem like, oh, Lord, what happened now? That's because of a filter. Or another filter, somebody could filter it this way. Oh, wow, I get a chance to sit and talk with my wife. I get a chance to sit and talk with my husband. They're excited about it. Some people be like, what happened now? No, but those are the filters. So now it's, hun, we need to talk. And we have a clear talk method. It is another acronym, clear. And the first thing we do is choose the right time. Because when you're frustrated, you're stressed out, you worn out, you're tired, you come in for work, that is not the time to have an intimate conversation. That's not the time. So you got to back off and say, pick the right time. You got to choose the right time. And once you choose the right time, then you start to listen. Even the person that said, I want to talk, first thing they should do is listen. Listen to understand what your spouse is saying. And then once you listen to understand what they're saying, you got to express your feelings according to how you truly feel, not the way you think that they want you to say it. And so sometimes that means we're going to have to enhance our vocabulary, because one word might mean something else when you're really trying to say something else. So we got to find the right words to say what it is that is going to make the difference for our relationship. And then you got to ask for what you need. You got to ask for it. Because if she doesn't tell me what she needs, getting mad with me because I don't give it, that ain't gonna fix nothing. But when she says, honey, I need X, Y, and Z from you. Okay. Well, and my question would, 9 times out of 10, well, how long you been needing this? When did you decide that you, well, it's been a while now. Well, why you wait so long to tell me? I didn't know how you were going to respond.
Yeah, that's fear.
Yeah, you won't know how I'm going to respond until you say it. And fear will cripple you. It will cripple a relationship. It will cripple it. And then you respond. Don't react. Worst thing you do is because reaction is just going back to something that you're confident with, or that you've done over and over and over again. But you respond. Now you say, wow, okay. And your response should not so much be verbal, but more so action.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and you'd be surprised how we'll give them a worksheet or something to take with them home for the week and kind of go over what's happened throughout the week. How did they handle this conflict? How did they talk? How did this situation turn out when they really wanted to express their feelings or whatever? And they'll come back with it to us, and they'll bring the information. And it's enlightening to, sometimes people are so engrossed in life from day to day, they don't realize the mistakes that they're making. They don't realize, this is where I need to change. This is what I need to be able to do. And it's so simple once you get, but if you don't know it, like he said earlier, if you don't know what to ask, if you don't know what to do, how to handle, if you don't know, nobody's giving us tools. When we get married, they just say, give you a license, and then here you go. Nobody gives us any tools. And that's what we had to experience. We've experienced a lot so that we got to this place where we want to be a blessing to other people, to help them so that they don't have to divorce.
mm-hmm.
So when we first argued, you said we're gonna take the D word off the table. We're not gonna do that. That's a curse in this house. We're no longer gonna curse in this house. We changed it. So we have to put boundaries in place. Now we're able to move forward.
But the
Yeah.
word that you use, intentionality, we had to be intentional with what we wanted from each other. She will never know what I want from her if I don't tell her. She'll never know. And I'm just sitting over here seething, upset, frustrated because she's not giving me what I need or what I desire from her. Instead of me just saying, hey, honey, listen, I need X, Y, and Z.
I need the orange possessed. I need the orange juice.
But tell me this, tell me this, man. The reason why, let's go through a few scenarios with communication where people
Okay.
struggle at, and then you can kind of give a quick little synopsis on how, what would you recommend for people dealing with that type of um issue in their communication. So we just throw out a couple. I know Tanya probably have a couple, but I'm gonna just start with one and then just give a quick, like, 30 seconds to a minute, like how would they address it? Unless we need to go deep. Because I want because I want to throw out a couple different scenarios when in terms of communication, because I believe that there are different issues that people are having in the area of communication. It's not just one size fit all.
Right.
So let's just start with the first one. Let's go with stonewalling. How would you help someone if the issue is stonewalling?
Go for it.
Well, I that was me. I was shut down. You can get upset all you want to. I'd sit there and look
Uh,
at you and like I'm not even there.
That's me too, Ken. That's me too, Coach. That's why I asked. That's why I put that one first.
Yeah, I'm just, but then I realized that me shutting down didn't fix anything. So then with a stonewaller, I would tell them, okay, listen to understand. And as you're listening, you don't want to immediately start to prepare your rebuttal with the first thing that's being said, because she helped me with this part. It takes people usually about 10 to 15 minutes to get into actually what's bothering them. That first 10, 15 minutes, that's fluff. After that, then you're going to get into the meat of it. And so when I learned that, I paused. I'm like, okay, she hasn't gotten to it yet. No, that ain't it. No, that's not it. And then when she finally gets into it, I'll lean like, oh, okay, now we're getting into it. And so because now I take that time to pause, and now I'm listening for because her intonation is going to change when she get to what's really bothering her. Yeah, the fluff is, that's all fluff. But when I just need, and bam, here we go. Now I'm getting ready to get everything that she needs. And this is what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, okay. So what I tell them to do is, you got to stop listening with this piece of cartilage on the side of your head. You have to start listening with your heart, because when you hear with your heart, automatically you're going to be like, okay. Many times she just needed me to say, okay, hon, I got you. I got that. And if I'm not at that point yet, I will work on what you need from me. I'm working on it. And many times she'll say, thank you so much. And all she really wanted me to do was to acknowledge the fact that I heard something whatever, it could have been something I was doing that bothered her. She wanted to hear the fact that I heard her heart, and what was big to her, I now allowed it to become big to me. Because, as men, most of the time we like, man, that ain't, you upset over this? Come on, give me a break. What are you talking about? This is not that major. What are you doing? But to them, it really is. And a stonewaller, man, stonewallers like this, man, this is what we're saying in our head. This don't even make no sense. I don't even know why we arguing about this foolish. This is some foolishness here. Don't make sense to me. This is petty. This is minute. And all the while we're thinking all of that, we miss what she's really trying to say. We just miss it.
Okay.
So we just have to pause.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
like it. That's stonewalling.
Yeah.
You got one, baby?
What do you the person who that's being stonewalled,
Mm-hmm.
how does that person handle the person who is doing the stonewalling? Do they say, "Well, I'm gonna do what you doing. I'm gonna give you that same energy, and we just both gonna be stonewalling," or would it? How should that person handle that? This episode of Couples Connect is sponsored by Just Like You Hair Care System. Introducing Just Like You Hair Care, the perfect solution for healthy, growing, moisturized hair. Our hair growth oil is enriched with essential oils like calendula, lavender, rose petals, also enriched with nourishing jojoba oil, promoting growth, reducing breakage, and restoring scalp health. Follow with our moisturizing leave-in cream to lock in hydration for smooth, manageable hair all day long. So you get to feel confident with thicker, stronger, and deeply moisturized hair. Our products are made with all natural ingredients and is designed for women or anyone who want a holistic approach to hair wellness. Shop today and experience the transformation. Just like you hair care, your hair, your confidence, and your journey. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode.
You'll never resolve the issue.
Yeah.
And that's what we find. A lot of couples, they're going in circles with the same issue. They never get to the root of the issue. Why? Because she shut down, he walked out, she cursed him out, she threw a shoe. Just you never get to the root of the issue. So that's definitely not the thing. But I would say that you have, like he said earlier, you have to pick the right time. You have to pick the right time. And women, as women, we know how to get them to open up if the truth be told. You know what I'm saying? And some things that you want to talk about, sometimes I tell people, write it down. If you really, if you feel like it's something, you write it down before you bring it. Write it down and say, this is what I think I'm going to say. This is how I'm going to say it, and prepare yourself for that. You can't just walk in and just blow up on the person. As soon as they walk in the door, I'm ready to argue. I'm ready to tell you. I'm ready to that. No, sometimes guess what? Have a bath from it. Have a bubble bath with. And while y'all in there chilling, enjoying each other's company and stuff, say, baby, you know what? I was thinking about this earlier today. And I was thinking that maybe we should try something different this time. You see what I'm saying? So now you've softened them up. They're a little more receptive to what you're bringing to them. They're not shut down. They're not defensive. So that might be an option for you. Timing. Everything.
Okay.
Timing is everything. And then, like you talked about the past and the way we saw other people, handle conflicts. I often ask couples, have you ever seen your mom and dad love each other? Have you ever seen them hold hands? Have you ever seen them get into a disagreement in their home when they had a conflict? How did they handle it? Did they go in the back room and you saw them lovingly do this? No. A lot of them, no. My mother was never there. My father was there, whatever. So we have to really retrain or rethink the way we've always done things. We have to change. If we change, the marriage changes, the communication changes. We have to be receptive to that.
Mm. I think that answer was also going to be for my next question. I think that applies as well. And as the person who which we addressed earlier, the person who listen only to respond, are they just ready before they even, while you talking, I'm already getting my respond together, right? That happens a lot. That used to be us in our earlier days. But I think what you just said pretty much kind of applies to some of that too, and some of what both of y'all said. But let's just kind of go there in just 30 seconds. How would you deal with that? Because I'm pretty sure there's people out there who's dealing with it. After she's finished saying what you're saying, oh, I'm ready. I'm just loading it up. Well, you just yeah. So we're going back and forth, right? Nobody's listening. We're just going at it without the listening piece. How do you what do you suggest?
Well, one of the things that we had a couple recently, they were in two different places on a Zoom with us, and he was saying she wouldn't listen, and she was saying he wouldn't listen, and they were just going back and forth. So my wife and I just leaned back like this here. We was like, okay, let them get all of that out, and then we'll chime in. But what we realize is that when you don't listen to understand, you don't hear anything. You hear nothing. When I say nothing, nothing, because we'll sit there and take notes. I'll know what he said. She said this, he said that, and then we'll say, well, did you hear she said X, Y, and Z? No, she didn't say that. I said, sir, I have it written down. She said, and she'd be like, yes, I did. I said, so if you don't stop, if you start to really listen to this person that you say you love the most, that's the part that we have to drill home to them, is that you say you love this person. So why not listen to them? Give them the intent of your ear. And when you give them the intent of your ear, it's going to soften your heart, because I don't want to anger her. I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to treat her in a manner that she doesn't want to be treated. So if she's telling me what I'm doing is hurting her, then I need to stop. It's not on her anymore. So when people are listening to respond, I tell them real quick, you're not listening.
But it's also something as simple as taking 30 seconds after a person is finished talking, 30 seconds, quietness, no talking. After they've gone on, 30 seconds, dead silence, then respond.
And if you're
Mm.
not sure of what they're really asking, you say, well, you know what? Let me ask you this. What I heard was X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant? And so now you put the ball back in their court. Now they can explain to you what they meant. And also, that's going to let them know you're actually listening to what they said.
Yeah. And I like the
Yeah.
30 seconds because it makes you have to, you can't talk for 30. So you're not waiting for them to get to that point because you have to be silent for 30 seconds after they finish. And if you begin to put those simple little things in place, tell me it begins to transform. Just something as simple as 30 seconds from now on, whenever we have a debate or we're talking about, I'm going to give you 30 seconds from that time that you're done. And then I'm going to speak and say what I have to say.
And those are called
Mm.
boundaries. You got to have boundaries even in your communication. I'm not going to call you out of your name. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to curse at you. I'm not, it's certain things that you say, well, we're not going to do these. And when you both agree on those,
You have to do it. And it's a lot of couples, they talk a good game. Oh, we're ready to make some change. We will. And when you give them the tools, like, hello, have you tried it? No, not yet. Okay, not.
They ain't ready. They
no,
ain't ready. They ain't ready at all.
we,
They
we,
ain't
we found out that
ready.
some people, unfortunately, some people want attention and they don't want help.
Mm.
Mm.
Some people
That,
want
so that,
attention,
yes, say it again.
but they don't want help. And
Mm.
they use the thing that they truly need help from to draw attention to themselves. And when you start focusing in on the thing that they really need help with, they'll let you know they don't want help from that thing. They just want attention from you about that thing. And we
Mhm.
found there's
Wow.
some couples that we've come across. Now I said, maybe they don't want help. They just want attention. They just want somebody else to be involved in their fight. We are not referees. We're not referees. That's not just the way we. No, if you want our help, we can help you. But if you really don't want to help, we just listen. Just be honest. Don't waste our time.
Yeah.
But
So,
some
yeah.
people, they just want. They just.
Wow.
That's good, man. That is good because I could see that,
Yeah.
arguing because they want attention. I remember, man, I can't remember, and I probably got it in my phone. There was a saying about people who cuss all the time, and it was the way that they said it. It was something I can't remember. I need to find this, but it was something that basically what it meant. The saying was that it was a act of someone who just didn't know how to intelligently verbally communicate,
Yeah.
right? If you cussing and fussing, you just don't know how to
Mhm.
truly
Yep.
intelligently communicate that thing, right? And that's so you choose, right? That's what the
Colorful
kind of
Choose.
those
words.
kind of words, and that's how you default to that.
Mhm.
And that was gonna be my next one. The people who are arguing and fussing and cussing, and that's always their method of arguing. Instead of having a dispute or a disagreement with your spouse, always taking it to 10, right? The hollering and screaming, the fussing, the cussing. What would be your take for someone like that who's always in that type situation?
Well, there's some trauma or something that's caused them to go from 0 to 10. It's something that's happened to them, I believe. I could be wrong, but usually it's something that's caused them to feel like that's how they'll resolve this issue or manipulate this issue or manipulate you. And that's what they do. So they've done it all their lives, and this is all they know to do. So we do give them other tools. We give them ways. How are you feeling? Write down what happened at that moment. Why did you feel like you had to yell and scream and curse? Why do you feel that? And sometimes if you don't have a pen, I tell them, talk on the phone. Just record what you're feeling at that moment. What took you there? What was the circumstance? Who were you talking to? And then the next time, the same thing. And sometimes when you go back and look over what you've done, you realize, oh my God, did I sound like that? Did I say that? Did I really? You don't even realize what you've done and the damage that you've caused. And that's what you've done all your life. We're dealing with someone like that. Now that's why I'm so engrossed in this conversation, because I'm like, wow. And we've told them this is what's happened. Something traumatic happened to you to make you believe that this is how you have to respond. But it's not necessary, because you're gonna lose your family. And
Mm.
it's important that you make changes. If not, you're going to lose out, and you're going to be by yourself yelling at yourself. You're going to be older and not have anyone there for you. You'll be okay. If that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get. But you have to be willing to make changes. If not, you can do that forever. Not only in your home relationships, on your job. It just becomes becomes you.
And it's amazing that you don't, that same person won't go to work and start cussing their boss out. They're not gonna do that because they want that job.
So they don't have
But
to
you'll
do it.
come home and talk to the person you say you love the most that way. It's
Yeah.
something's going on here. It's deeper than, and in those situations, I will calm them down and say, all right, now what are you cussing about? Well, and then they'll start to talk with sense, and they'll be able to say, well, she didn't do the X, Y, and Z. I said, okay, so why couldn't you just say that in the first place? Well, I could, but I was just upset, and I'm just, passionate. I said, listen. We tell people that it's not every couple is going to fight. Everyone. Guess what? And fighting is not a bad thing. You just got to do it right.
Mhm. Mhm.
You just, and people say, well, what's a right fight? A right fight is, I'm fighting to understand you, not to win the fight,
Right. You're a
not to win
team.
the argument.
I always say that you're a team.
Exactly. And teams don't fight against each other. Teams fight with each other. And that's what'll happen as this person realized, that's not my enemy. That's not my enemy.
And that's what we get them to see. You're not the enemy.
Mm-mm. You're my friend. You're the person that I should be able to turn to. And so when they come to terms that you're not my enemy, you're my greatest ally. And once we get them to realize that their spouse is their ally, the next ally they need to develop is that their mouth needs to become their greatest ally, or it will become their greatest enemy. If your mouth is not your ally, and we tell them, listen, stop talking, fussing about what you see. Do you want more of that? That's the question we ask. Do you want more of what you see? Well, no, but okay, you've answered that. You don't want what you see. So what do you want? Well, we want X, Y, and Z. We want a better relationship. We want to be able to talk. I said, okay, then talk about that. And there's no way you can talk about wanting something better and you're going to cuss somebody out. Not going to happen. You're going to slow down and say, well, this is what I want, X, Y, and Z. I want a relationship where I can talk to you and we're not going to argue. I said, it sounds like y'all just want to become each other's safe space. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so let us help you. And when they see that, they realize that's all I want, is just to have a safe space where I can lay my head in your lap and I'm be okay.
Yeah. No, that is real. That is so real. A safe space for sure. Yeah. A safe space to communicate, to be transparent, be who I am, all those things, right? Just a safe space. And
Mhm.
I know that's something that we're, constantly working on, to be more of each other's safe space, right? Because communication back in the day, listen, we don't look like what we've been through, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, that's all I'm gonna say. We don't look like what we've been
We
through in this communication.
understand.
I
That's right.
understand.
As a
Yeah.
kid,
Yes,
as the youngsters say less.
What a
I know.
mighty God
yes,
you
yes.
serve.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, this has been absolutely amazing, and I'm just dialed into everything you guys are saying, and you guys, I'm gonna just give y'all props right now. Y'all gave a lot more. I didn't know what I was expecting. I just know it was gonna be a great Tanya. She was, yeah, I'm excited to
I
talk to him.
was. I
She
was like,
really was.
I'm so excited to
Oh,
talk to
And
you.
I was definitely looking forward to it, man. So, and you guys delivered above and beyond, man. It was
Yeah.
some great nuggets, great information. And I can see how you guys are in the space that you're in, where you're able to really pour into other couples in in this particular topic for sure. So, if someone wanted to connect with you guys, how can they do that? We're going to have all your information in the show notes. But real quick, just throw it out there if they want to kind of connect with you guys to kind of help them in whatever areas. Communication. I know y'all mentioned sex and all that other stuff. We might have to bring y'all back for that sex
Yes.
piece.
Yeah.
We want
Bring
to
us
say what y'all
back.
going to.
Bring back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but how can people connect with you guys?
The number?
Well, you can give them that. Well, we on Facebook is Inspired Coaching on Facebook, Inspired Marriage Coaching, right? On Facebook and Instagram, we are Inspired Marriage Coaches. Because people be trying to steal your handle,
And we have a website as well. It's Inspired Coaching LLC.com.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
yeah, we can
And we have a phone number. It's 346-831-9408.
Awesome. So, and real quick, so all the areas that you guys help couples, throw them out there one more time.
Communication,
communication, intimacy, restoral of trust, and we come across a lot of couples that are dealing with infidelity, and we can help you walk back that as well. Premarital, we do premarital counseling. We do divorce recovery. We also have developed a course for clergy because they deal with a whole different set of issues that laity may not deal with, especially if they're lead men or lead women in a particular church. But we deal with that as well. And communication, of course, we talk about that. We have a marriage restoration system that we have Marriage Reboot. And I'm currently putting together something for just men. And it's going to be called Mend and Rise, where we're going to get the men together and they're going to be able to vent and share and just learn how to handle the day to day, to deal with that backpack that we carry.
Yeah.
And that is so needed. You started to do something like that too, where you meet with the men, and I think you really should start that up again. I think that is so needed.
Well, y'all can get together.
Yeah.
You never know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Please send me your number, so that we can stay in touch, and I can let you know what we're doing on this end, so that we can collaborate.
Yeah, man.
Was good.
Cause y'all right up the street. Yeah.
We have to get together, do dinner, lunch, something. I would
Absolutely.
love that.
Absolutely.
Man, look, y'all ain't saying nothing but a word. We love to
Nothing but a
eat.
word.
We
Hey,
love to
we'll
eat.
come down,
So,
go to church with y'all one Sunday. I
Absolutely.
love talking.
hey, come on
Absolutely.
through, man. Come on through.
Well,
Hey, we got an
Cherlyn,
extra. We got a, huh?
you wanna end this so that you can say what you said, and then we could start talking afterwards?
Oh, okay, yeah. We about to
Hey,
get all personal.
Yeah,
Anyway, so,
just
but
stay on afterwards.
yeah, just hang tight.
all right.
But thank you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for being a part of Couples Connect tonight, man. It's been absolutely amazing. You guys, I think what you guys shared, man, I think it was truly, truly helpful. Like I told you, the first 10 minutes, y'all blessed me already. And I know that, man, what you guys shared is going to bless others as well. So, don't go nowhere. Stay on the connect, and we're gonna get up on out of here. But hey, man, I'm Kev, man. This is my boo thing, and
Tanya.
this is Couples Connect, baby, and we out.